He strapped the weapon to his thigh, poised to assassinate the visiting president. To beat the metal detectors, Sean had handcrafted a composite pistol, deceptively simple in appearance, yet lethal. Just then, a sudden gunshot drew the attention of two passersby. Curiosity getting the better of them, they approached and asked what the gun was for.
To assassinate the president.
When they started mocking him, Sean snapped. In a fit of rage, he opened fire, gunning them both down on the spot. To smuggle the ammunition past security, Sean had custom-ordered a keychain padded with down feathers, making it virtually undetectable. Unlike the typical assassin operating in the shadows, Sean brazenly tipped off a federal agent about his plan. The timing couldn't have been more critical. It was election season, and the president was hitting the campaign trail, scheduled to visit 3 cities to woo voters. The next day, Agent John reported the incident to his superior, but the chief brushed it off. They had been flooded with death threats against the president recently, almost all of them pranks. In his eyes, the man John described was just talking tough and wasn't a credible threat. John didn't push the issue. But the very next day, Sean escalated the situation by calling the White House directly. He asked for John by name, vowing to carry out the hit, loud enough for everyone in the office to hear. John kept his cool, keeping Sean on the line to buy time while his team traced the call. They pinpointed the location to a public phone in a park just across the street. John led a team to rush the spot, but by the time they arrived, Sean had vanished. John scanned the area, spotting only a homeless man watching them from the shadows. John tried to give pursuit, but the heavy traffic made it impossible and he lost the target. However, during his escape, Sean had brushed against a parked car, leaving a fingerprint. John ran the print, only to hit a wall. The suspect's identity was classified military intelligence, way above John's pay grade. 3 days later, the campaign officially kicked off. As a member of the Secret Service detail, John stuck to the president like glue. They hit 3 different venues, but the attack Sean threatened never came. The team's nerves began to settle. Little did they know, Sean was already blending into the crowd, calmly watching every move. The real game was just beginning. When the campaign reached the next stop, a torrential downpour forced the event indoors. As the president stood at the podium delivering a passionate speech, Sean deliberately popped a balloon. The sharp crack sounded exactly like a gunshot to John. Reacting on instinct, he ordered agents to cover the president. In seconds, over a dozen agents swarmed the stage, burying the president under a protective pile as the crowd erupted into panic. Then, a second balloon popped. John suddenly realized his fatal error. He had mistaken bursting balloons for gunfire. Afterward, he was chewed out by his superiors, who reminded him they had warned him about pranks and told him not to be so jumpy. It looked like he had made a fool of himself. The final, crucial campaign event was set for the next day. Due to his previous blunder, John was pulled off the detail and reassigned, but he didn't throw in the towel. Using the fingerprint lead, he finally cracked the assassin's identity. Sean was an ex-Special Forces operative who had been forced out of the military after being treated unfairly. He wasn't just a lethal weapon, he was a master of disguise. John immediately had tech specialists generate renderings of Sean's possible disguises. Meanwhile, a disguised Sean hid the plastic components of his gun in his pants and breezed into the campaign venue. He left his metal pen and keys outside to pass the checkpoint, then doubled back to retrieve the keychain that concealed the bullets. He then headed to the seat he had paid $50,000 to secure. Before the president arrived, Sean quietly assembled the gun under the table. He took the spring from the pen, loaded the bullets from the keychain, and tightened the bolt. At the same time, the president was working the room, shaking hands with supporters to secure every last vote. The president was closing in on Sean's position. In that split second, John went rogue, ignoring orders and rushing the venue. Scanning the crowd, he spotted a familiar face near the front. Despite the disguise, John made him. Just as Sean raised his gun to fire, John lunged forward, taking the bullet meant for the president. Chaos consumed the hall as the president was whisked away. Sean took down a guard, grabbed John's weapon, and dragged John to an exterior elevator, tying him to it. Snipers quickly set up and opened fire, shattering the glass around the elevator. John managed to fight back in the confusion, turning the tables and knocking Sean off the elevator to his death.